Hello, and welcome to a very special edition of Sports Opinion, the public access TV show on Channel 18. My name's Dirk Keller. You all know Earl Murphy, and I'm guessing you probably know who our special guest is. Marv Cook, the head coach at Iowa City Regina, the four-time consecutive state champion football coach at Iowa City Regina, and the owner of 56 straight victories. That's an all-time state record. Marv, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you being here. I know you're busy, and it's become a tradition here on Sports Opinion to have Marv and his seniors on the show. We're going to bring the seniors on in a little bit. We've even got a junior here today. The first we want to talk to Marv and kind of relive the last couple weeks of your life. It's been crazy, and yet you've overcome every obstacle in your path, and I think some of them were seemed somewhat insurmountable at the time. I mean, going on the road at Maquoketa Valley, wow! I thought that was a trap.
Yeah. First and foremost, it's football programs are big operations. We got a lot of volunteers. A lot of people that dedicate their times to the facilities, to the taking tickets, the concession stand, all that stuff. It's a big operation on a Friday night, and we're very fortunate to have a community that buys into that. And a group of student athletes that buy into the concept of what we're trying to accomplish, and that's trying to be the very best they can be, both as students and as athletes. And then, also I'm very fortunate that I coach alongside guys that I trust implicitly, that are great personal friends, and when you put that all together with great student athletes, you got a chance to be real successful.
Well, and it starts early. It doesn't start when these kids come to high school at Regina. It starts way down in the grade school ranks. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about guys like Alex Canellis, the strength and conditioning coach.
Well, first and foremost, I think, the statistics of Regina, I think we have 96% of our students at Regina participate in some athletic program, if not multiple athletic programs. And when you have that much participation, one of the things I think is critical is having a strength conditioning program, a conditioning program in place that's going to one, help these kids as they develop their coordination, their athleticism, but then, strength and conditioning. I mean, and football is a contact sport, a collision sport, and, my responsibility as a coach is to make sure we get them in the best possible shape where they can, their bodies can physically take the demands of a football season. And we're very fortunate, as you said, to have a guy named Alex Canellis who's come in and set up that program under the guidance of Jason Dumont, who's spent a lot of time developing that. And I think we've got second to none across the Midwest, if not in the country, as far as high school strength and conditioning program.
Oh, I agree. I know there are a lot of, Earl and I have talked about this on the show before. There are a lot of other schools that are jealous of what you can do, and they can't. And one of the big advantages at Regina, and I don't even know if the kids here today can appreciate this, but you've got all the students, kindergarten through 12, under one roof. They can't do that at West. They can't do that at City High. And it's not their fault, it's just physically impossible. And so you've got all these kids in one place, and they're buying into it. These third and fourth graders who are becoming aware of the kids in high school, their idols, if you will, they know who they are, they see them, and they want to be like them. And all of a sudden, here's this strength and conditioning program that is available to boys and girls, which I think is marvelous. And they buy into it. They are in there, and I think that's where it begins. That's where the incubator lies, right there in that little tiny weight room that Kevin O'Brien helped fund. And here we are today, 4 state titles in a row later. I watched your show on KCRG the other night, and I remember, I can't remember who it was, but one of the kids here talked about what it was like as a freshman. And not only have they not ever known defeat at the varsity level, but they saw the older kids set the pattern for them. And again, you've got great coaches, and we've talked a lot about that. But you've also got kids who lead by example. And I'm going to ask the seniors later on today about their experiences. But what do you see as a coach when you've got 7th and 8th graders coming into the 5th and 6th graders coming into the system, and they see these older kids, they know them, and they admire them?
Yeah, well, we've really tried to coordinate all our different programs. I've got a youth coordinator, Tony Quinlan, who's got a son that plays
Tony's
on the
great.
varsity programs that helps set up our third and fourth and fifth and sixth grade levels. Has done a great job with that. We've gone back and forth whether it's padded or flag. We've moved our third and fourth back to flag, and our participation numbers went way back up. So we're excited about that, and kids are having a fun experience with it. And that's what football needs to be at a young age, is a fun experience. You want them when you drop them off smiling, excited, and then when you pick them up, you want them tired and smiling still. So, and I think that's what we've been able to do at our youth levels, and keep our numbers up, hopefully. And so when you have that kind of follow through from third and fourth, fifth and sixth, and as you said, a lot of these kids are siblings of some of the older kids as well. So you get a lot of buy-in from that standpoint. And then, when they do see each other, when we're out of dress code and we get to wear the jerseys in the hallways, not me as a coach, but the players, it is recognizable, and it's exciting for the younger kids to see that, and hopefully want to be a part of it someday.
Yeah. Now, back to Maquoketa Valley for a second. I didn't go to that game, but I heard and saw pictures afterwards of something after the game that I guess is true, and if so, really incredible. After the game, a really hard-fought game against an opponent who had not lost a game all year, Maquoketa Valley, who played you straight up, tough. After that game, as the team bus is leaving, the team from Maquoketa Valley, the coaches, parents, fans, students, formed a gauntlet for the Regina bus with the team on it and gave you a round of applause.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, when I first saw them lined up, I wasn't sure if it was. I thought we might have been running the gauntlet there. But it was actually very impressive and a great sign of sportsmanship, because obviously they were extremely disappointed. They had a great football team, a great group of seniors, a great group of juniors too, and it was a very, very tough physical game. So it was something to see. I know there's a couple really great shots of it, and to me, it's what a high school athletics all about.
Jeez.
One of my favorite things is when you see the game is over, and then you got the two lines on the 50-yard line, and everybody's shaking hands and telling everybody good game. That's what we've always espoused. Let's play 48 minutes as hard as we can, as tough as we can. We may have to play some more with an overtime setting or something, but ultimately, if you've given everything you have for those 48 minutes, you can hold your head up high, and the results will speak for themselves at that point.
Well, you've done that. I've just never seen an opponent who's been vanquished in a high-level game, losing their first game of the year, high hopes, and then to turn around and show that kind of sportsmanship.
Yeah, it was top-notch quality. It's one of the first times I've seen something like that, and it's something I'll remember for a long time.
I'll bet. We talked about it on the show after that game, and I said I hope that the Regina fans, because someday the streak's going to end, and I hope when that day comes, the Regina fans can. Paul shakes his head. I hope the Regina fans can return the favor, if you will, and demonstrate that same kind of sportsmanship. I just gained a ton of respect for Maquoketa Valley that night after I saw those pictures and heard the story. That's marvelous.
And as you said, it was a tough game. They gave us all kinds of fits for all 48 minutes of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that was I don't know if that was a signature win. I think it was, to go on the road against a quality undefeated opponent and win. I just thought that was a trap game, and want to congratulate you for that. Let me ask you, you've had a lot of tough games this year. West Branch, Solon, Durant, great teams, if not good teams. West Liberty. What's the standout moment in the season? Where did you realize, okay, we got it going again?
Well, I really felt like, obviously with our non-districts, we're always trying to really challenge our kids and get some scheduled games that are going to be difficult to find out where we are from a benchmark standpoint. Obviously, West Liberty, a 2A playoff team, and then Solon, a top-notch 3A program. And it was an unbelievable setting in Solon High School. Their facilities are second to none. They did a phenomenal job organizing that and getting that all set up. And it was a great crowd. And when we came out and we played extremely well, I thought offensively and defensively, and got the victory there. That's kind of when I knew that this group of guys had a chance to have a special team and a special season. And they carried through with a really solid district play as well. Our district was top to bottom, about as good as we've seen, and great quality opponents. And so, the attention to detail, the focus had to be maintained throughout, all 9 games of regular season as well as the 5 in the playoffs.
Earl, you had a question?
They were led by a junior quarterback by the name of Drew.
Drew
Regina,
Cook?
Yeah.
He was really nice to have somebody like that.
Yeah, he did a good job. We've had the last 3 years, we've had 3 different quarterbacks. So this year we had a junior in there, and he waited his turn. Really,
Yes.
Worked hard in practice the last couple of years, and took advantage of his playing opportunities when he got them at the fresh soft level as well as the varsity level. And him along with his teammates did a nice job of executing and having a really good offensive season.
Let's talk about the championship game against Fort Dodge St. Edmund. They had a head coach, Dick Ty, who I believe has been the head coach at Fort Dodge St. Edmunds for 60 years.
I don't know if it's been 60. I think the last 20 or so. I think
He's
is,
there.
Yeah.
83 years old, I believe.
I think the last school actually kind of told him to retire at 65 because he was too old. So, and then he went on and coached another 20 years.
And takes a team to
I don't
the
know
state
the particular
title game.
fact, yeah. But great guy, great coach, and a great man.
Did you get a chance to meet him?
I did. I actually went up to him in the pregame, and I'm honestly, a lot of times I don't, I'm too nervous and stuff that I don't do that. But I actually wanted to take a moment to congratulate him and his team on a phenomenal season up to that point. And I mean, the story's amazing. I mean, to coach 60 plus years, I think the winningest coach in Iowa history as far as the number of wins, and that was the semifinal game was the first time he coached in the Dome.
Yeah.
And to take his team to the championship was pretty impressive. Turns out, I actually went to high school with two of his nephews. His brother lived in West Branch.
Is that right?
And so Bill and Bob Ty were high school buddies of mine, and got caught up a little bit from that standpoint. So just excited for him. Excited, obviously, for Fort Dodge St. Edmunds. I thought they had a great football team, and it was a great moment that I was able to spend with him and get a picture with him.
Anybody from Iowa City who went to the title game at the Unidome ran into the same difficulties that you and the team bus did on the way up there. There was an accident, not with the team bus, but an accident on Interstate 380, and you and the team weren't able to arrive at the Unidome until an hour before the start of the game.
We were supposed to take pictures at 9:30, and we arrived at 9:45. So yeah, it got a little dicey there, a little tension, but ultimately the state worked with us, and we worked it out, and was still able to get a efficient enough warm up in. So it's one of those things. You worry about the things you can control. We couldn't
Right.
control that, and so our players did a good job of focusing on what they could control and kind of put it behind us. But I can be honest that there was some stress and some tension on the bus ride up there from my standpoint as I was looking at the watch.
I can't imagine what it must have been like. Well, I can imagine because we've all sat in traffic, but I've never sat in a traffic jam with a bus full of football players that need to prepare for the state title game.
It doesn't happen too often, but how many people can you dress?
The state will compensate you for 44 at our level, 1A. They'll allow you to dress 44. They'll allow you to dress as many as you want, but they only cover transportation and meal for the 44 kids. So we ended up dressing about 52, I think. And so we went a little bit over that allotment. And one of the things we want to do is really, get all the kids the experience of seeing it up close and seeing the pace, the atmosphere in the dome. And, every year 56 teams want to be participating in the dome, and you never want to take that for granted. And it's quite the experience, the road to the dome, and to be able to play in that setting is pretty cool.
We've got a visitor on the set, a late arriving visitor. Bud Supple is here. We told Bud we're starting at high noon today.
You did?
Several times. Several times.
I could have made
Multiple times I told you.
it. Oh, you did?
I did. But that's okay, you're here, and that's what counts. Number one Regina fan in the world, Bud Supple.
Well, I know about
Is here.
that. A long
Bud
time.
Supple is here. And Bud, we have been talking to Marv about the title game. We talked about the Maquoketa Valley game when the fans and players after the game gave
And we
them.
talked about the big contributors.
Eh,
Like you?
Yeah,
Oh,
we haven't talked about that.
you're really putting me on the spot.
Bud, you've been to a lot of Regina games this year, and you've been to a lot of Regina games every year. What to you stood out this year about this team, this group of seniors?
Like a family. It's hard to pick out one individual. Every game there seemed to be a different person,
Yeah,
and especially his son. You're not going to find a better quarterback than on that last ball game. What did he go, 17 for 17?
The team did, yeah. He was 13 for 13,
13 for
and the
13.
other Nathan came in and did a nice job
Oh,
finishing it
okay.
out. So, yeah.
well, somebody who's not here today, and I want to talk about a little bit, is Casey Beaver. Casey was my favorite player to watch. He's all over the place, and he's got a motor that never quits. And of course, he's Bud's nephew. On top of that, of course, Bud's related to just about every football and basketball player
Every
at
one of
Regina.
them back there.
But Casey was my favorite player to watch, and it sounds like he went through a little bit of extra effort here at the end of the season. He had a knee injury and played through it.
Yeah, he's actually going to have surgery today. They're going to go in and do some exploratory surgery on a meniscus tear, and hopefully it's going to be a situation they can get that cleaned up. And I know he's excited about the wrestling season, and hopefully he'll be back and ready to go and be able to finish out his senior year with a great wrestling year as well. But you mentioned Casey. I mean, he's a guy that, we play him all over the place, offensively and defensively. A lot of games from a matchup standpoint, we don't necessarily have him in the mix, so he does scout team for us, and the next thing you know, about a series or two in, he's in the game and playing and helping his teammates make plays and win football games. And it is a great story, and it's it's a tribute to him and his work ethic and his attitude. I mean, he's a great teammate on top of being a great football player.
I talked to my son before the show, and I asked him to tell me what he knows about the different seniors, and right away he said Casey is so nice to the little kids. And that goes a long way, seniors, being nice to those little kids, not picking on them, but being nice and showing them what it's like to be a leader. You've all impressed my family with that attitude and that approach. Makes a big difference, but Casey stood out. Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, no, and it's I mean,
Off
you
the
know,
field.
Yeah,
Off the
I was gonna clear that up. I mean, it's really easy to be talented. It's hard to be great, and it's tough to be great. And great isn't just on the football field. It's doing the other things extremely well as well. And I think if we don't emphasize that enough in the football program, then that's my mistake. And I think myself and the coaching staff that we have. I mean, first and foremost, we want to try to be great mentors to these young men and we want them to go on and be successful in athletics, but we also want them to go on and be successful in life and whatever ventures and career choices they make down the road.
To me, watching Casey Beaver play defense was kind of like watching an on-field coach. He seemed to get his teammates fired up, and if he couldn't get them to do the job that was necessary at that point, he did it. He would make the tackle. He would blow up a running play that the opponent was trying to undergo. He just seemed to do it all this year and last year. And if you look at Casey Beaver, and I think to me it kind of epitomizes Regina too. When you look at Casey, he's pretty small. He doesn't impress you.
He reminds me of a midget.
Well, only reason you can say that is because you're his uncle. But I think a lot of people look at Regina, small school, how good can they be? Not now, but how good can a guy like Casey Beaver be? And then they play against him, and they find out the hard way.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if you were to line up kids and pick numbers and pick up teams, he probably wouldn't be the first team or second team selection. But ultimately, the great thing about him and the way he goes about his preparation is he makes plays. And when our defense, I think, is extremely unique in that our coaches demand and practice and rep, attention to detail and doing it the right way. And when it's being done the right way, a lot of times the guys that are making the play are the guys that aren't getting the tackle. They're the guys that are forcing the thing, setting the edge, forcing it back inside, or really pressing the trap or the double team and forcing it to bounce to the edge guys. And that's what our defense is, and that's why a lot of times you see our linebackers. Justin Hunter has a ton of tackles. and our inside guys have a lot of tackles. It's because our defensive ends, our defensive tackles, and our edge guys are doing such a great job of doing their assignments that everything's funneling into one
Containment.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was one play I thought in the championship game that really stood out, and that I don't know if you call it the flea flicker or the reverse, the end around, but that 70-yard touchdown pass that Drew threw to was it
Brian Amelon.
Brian Amelon caught that. Who called that play?
That would be Coach Henkel.
Henkel?
Yeah. In fact,
Wow.
it was 21-0. I think we had turned the ball over, and then our defense had shut them down in the red zone, and then we got the ball back with a few minutes to go, and
Yeah.
I think we got one first down, and then one of the coaches has a headset and relays the call to me, and when he told me, I usually don't try not to show any expression, but I literally turned right back and said, "Are you serious?" And then you kind of hold your breath for a few seconds, kind of watching the play unfold. But it was a brilliant call. It was actually a new formation that I hadn't seen, and Jake did a nice job of setting the edge and controlling the pocket and keeping the pocket clean. And then Brian really sold it on the outside with the corner and got by him and made a great play for us.
Very well executed play. It was just picture perfect live, and like you said,
Everything was.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one before, and I was just amazed. I saw Drew catch another. What do you call that? The halfback option.
That was in the semis. Yeah.
Was that the? Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't do one in the. Okay, I'm getting them mixed
Yeah,
up.
no, that was in the semis.
That was nice. What are? Let's see. Let's talk about the assistant coaches a little bit. I know you have to get going, but I'd like you to break down the assistant coaches for us. Tell the viewers who they are. We talked about Coach Ed Hinkle, former Hawkeye, wide receiver. What's he? What are his duties?
Well, he's the offense coordinator, play caller. Obviously has a really incredible grasp of the passing game and sequencing plays. And it was initially it was tough for me to pass that over, but I was smart enough to realize that Ed had a really good grasp of it and has been phenomenal ever since he's taken it over. And I think it's a great combination between Ed, Tom, and myself as far as passing game goes. Tom Nosbish is the receiver coach, my old high school coach. And so, I think we've got a really good grasp of the passing game. So he does that. Jason Dumont, defensive coordinator, associate head coach.
Another former Hawkeye.
Correct. And, brilliant, strategic guy. I mean, just truly knows how to position guys to have success against the offenses we face. Because high school football is changing. I mean, you'll see the wing tee, you'll see triple option, you'll see, spread, you'll see empty. You'll see all kinds of things in our district and our non-district games, and he's able to every week get game plans in place and put the kids in position to have success, and a phenomenal job. Alex Canales, obviously, of course, is strength conditioning and our offensive line guy. Best 40 minutes of the day is when we watch our O-line do individual work. I mean, I think those guys, get better every single time that they spend, over 5-10 minutes with them, and so we try to maximize the individual time that he gets with them. Kevin Stout came over, helped us this year for the first time as a defensive back coach from West Branch, 3-time state champion. Blew his knee out the first day of practice. He's actually having surgery today on his knee.
Really?
To get that
Wow.
fixed. Mike Brinkman. Mike's been one of the first guys that I kind of reached out to when I was going to get into coaching because Ed coached against him in youth sports. I was a high school official by trade early. Played at UNI with Coach Farley. And is just a phenomenal teacher. I mean, a phenomenal coach and instructor of how to do things fundamentally right. A great role model. And so I reached out to Mike and got him on board. As I mentioned, Tom Nosbish. We brought in, our fresh off guys. Andy Gann has been with us, baseball coach at Regina.
Andy's
phenomenal
great.
with our young quarterbacks, our young offense. He does a phenomenal job play calling, stressing kids. We want to challenge kids and make them better. And it's easy to turn around and hand off to a stud running back 60 times in a game and win, but we want to see if he can catch and block, and Andy does a phenomenal job of that. Brought a new guy in named Brad Bean, who's a friend of Ed Hinkle, played at Valley. I think he had a stint at Drake. He's helping with our offensive and defensive line. Adam Martinson came back, former Regina state champion.
State champion
Did I see
wrestler.
Mr. Hughes down there?
And he's coming as a sideline guest and help out.
Is that
yeah,
right?
So,
He's still welcome.
Yeah, Jordan Grimm is a guy we brought in as well. He coaches girls soccer at Regina. Phenomenal communicator.
Is that Berkeley's?
It's not.
No relation.
No relation. But
I'll be darned.
has done a great job with our girls soccer program, and a great young man, and like I said, glad to have him. And then we brought in a friend of mine named Jeff Shebler, who was a great college kicker, set a lot of college records, and kind of he worked mostly with just Jacob Adam on his kicking, and obviously it worked out well because Jacob had a phenomenal year for us.
And Jacob set a scoring record. You want to talk about
Yeah.
that for a little bit?
Most points by a high school kicker, I think.
Yeah.
So in a 1A through 4A, so it's a pretty amazing record, and pretty
And he
exciting.
made
for
the
him.
elite team, right?
Yeah, all state elite.
Is
yeah,
that the only one that made the elite team?
Yeah. What other coaches am I missing? Yeah, Jake
Oh,
Risen
Jake
came back and
Risen.
helped us. Zach Peckhouse has come back and helped us. Varsity wise, I mean, I'm just trying to make sure that I didn't forget anybody because we, like I said, we are blessed to have that.
Sounds like he had more coaches than players.
Well, and we catch a lot of grief for that, but these guys are all volunteers for the most
Right.
part, and
Some people
they give
don't
up their time.
appreciate.
And one of the things we want to do is like I said, Andy Gann, like our fresh soft coaches, these guys spent 2 hours and 15 minutes a day with these kids for the last 2 years, and when they come juniors, they know them better than I do. They've seen them tested better than I have a lot of times, and so I want them with us. So we do a lot of stuff together. I mean, we really rely on each other, and so, they may be, fresh soft titles, but we're all in the same situation in the same team, and I think that's one of the things that we're benefiting from because we really have an open line of communication between the levels, and we rely on each other. Fresh soft games, we're down there. Varsity games, they're with us, and so I think it makes us a better program.
There were a lot of games this year that I saw where at the end of the first quarter the score might be 6-0, 7-0, 10-7, whatever, and then the coaches make the adjustments and the players carry it out. Pretty amazing. I think the coaches that you have are the difference a lot of the
Well,
time.
I would have to agree. I want to, first and foremost, it's the athletes. I mean, I can draw up a ton of plays on a board and they look good on a board, okay? But if the X can't block the O, it's not going to be a good play. And ultimately, the players are the ones that have to go out and get it done and make the adjustments and finalize them. Our coaches do a phenomenal job of adjusting to what teams are doing. And it's a tribute to high school because it's not like teams line up. Some teams will line up and they'll do the same thing over and over again. And then that's, from a strategic standpoint, it's just a matter of you need to be better than them when you execute. But a lot of teams are changing things up. They're changing fronts, they're changing coverages, blitzes, and sometimes you want to see it once or twice before you get it figured out, and then you got to try to obviously attack where if a team's attacking you from a defensive standpoint, I'm speaking offensively here, they're vulnerable somewhere now because they're putting pressure on you, and so you've got to try to find where that's at and attack back and hopefully put the pressure back on them. And if you hunker down and get too conservative, you can be in for a long night.
Well, I don't think any game this season personified that more than the North Fayette game. Now, here's another tough team. Weren't they the leading rushing team in the state, averaged 365 yards a game? And what do? They come out and they gained a lot. And there were moments there in that first quarter where I had butterflies. I just thought, uh-oh.
Yeah, we were down 7-0, then it was 7-7, then we went down 14-7, and came back 14-14 at the end of the first quarter.
But you stopped that run.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was
You
they
brought
were
a
big and they were
first
physical.
time I
and-
ever seen
yeah.
that big chalkboard.
Yeah,
brought
we
out.
broke that thing out, didn't we?
I watched every move on that.
Coach Dumont, we started the second quarter, and I think he actually just wanted to call a timeout even after the quarter
Yeah.
was over, and just to reset things. And this is the beauty of what we do is because we do a lot of changing and adapting, and we stress them and practice enough. I wouldn't say it's easy for our kids, but our student athletes have done enough where they've had to, okay, instead of going to a 4-front, we're going to go to a 5-front, or we're going to make up an adjustment from a linebacker, whether we're going to Aggie the backers or we're going to keep them in and then pull a safety down. They've done enough of that in our practices and other games where you can make that switch and communicate it quickly, and then the players can come out and get in those positions and
execute.
exactly.
That was fantastic.
Boy, did they execute.
I know.
Wow. Just, You know,
Mr. Halch over there, he did a lot, is he over there?
Yeah, he'll be over
He
here in a little
was-
bit, so.
yeah, we're gonna get him out here. Marv, who was the unsung hero this year? Who was on the team that we didn't hear a lot about?
Well, I thought you said something earlier, Murph said something earlier about it was, or no, it was you. It was somebody different every week.
Every week there
good
was
point.
some.
You know, early on, Mike Seal, you know, went from the most glamorous position in football, the tight end position, to the offensive line, and immediately made us better in the offensive line, and was phenomenal. He would have been an all-state tight end, in my opinion, and he made the sacrifice to help his team and did that. You know, Elliot Halsh did it in like week 7, week 8. You know, he's a running back, and you know, we had a ton of running backs, and so he, you know, told Coach Canellis, or was asked by Coach Canellis if he'd go work in the offensive line, and did it, and immediately got in there and starting some games for us, and made us better. And it's those types of things, and Casey Beaver you mentioned about, and you know, it's a team game. You know, we had a lot of different guys rotate in, and you know, I
And
think of
Mr.
all the
Dixon.
seniors. Yeah, Riley Dixon got
How
hurt.
could you
and,
ask for a guy who gets hurt?
Yeah.
But those first 4 or 5 games, it was over within a quarter.
Yeah, no, it was, you know, he had a great senior year considering he missed 2.5 games. And it was just, you know, Jared Garrett's and Cale Lehman and you know, Jack Leonard, you know, was an injury. He had a concussion issue as a sophomore and just stayed out, and it was a great teammate. And Eric McFerrin, who, you know, played special teams and just came out, and he could have been out for cross country or focused on wrestling, but he came out to be a part of the team. And when you got guys that are doing it because of the friendships, and all that, it makes it so special. Adam Demery's over here. You'll get to meet him. I mean, a guy that you know, started for us last year and was part of that state championship team and came back, and you know, great leader for us as well. So every single senior, you know, is a big part of it. All the teams have a senior flavor for me. You know, that being the case, I'm excited. I got a great junior class coming up, big size, good numbers, and a bunch of kids I've coached since 1st and 2nd grade. So I'm very familiar with these guys.
That's really
Oh,
exciting.
okay.
Yeah. I think you said on the TV show the other night you've got 22 juniors.
Yeah.
Now this year you've got
I
15.
think there's 14
14
seniors, I think is what
seniors.
there is.
Okay.
That's another thing, though. To me, on all 4 of these champions, even before, the senior class helps the other kids all the way down to freshmen.
Very much so.
I mean, it's a family deal.
Very much so.
You know, you go to some of these schools, the seniors don't talk to the freshmen or the.
That's how it was when I was a freshman. They
Well, I
didn't-
can see
They
why.
didn't help you. Oh, knock it off. So, Marv, tell us, how does a 4-time consecutive state title coaching staff celebrate after the big win? What do you do?
That's you know, decompress. I'll be candid. We go out to the hilltop
Yep.
and enjoy. They've been great to us out there. And
I guess
it's a
I just
chance for
missed
us
you guys that night.
Chance for us to just go out and get together as a staff and just, you know, kind of unwind, decompress a little bit, and enjoy it. And
Well, what do you do now? Football's over. I know you get to
Yeah.
watch your boys play basketball.
yeah, you know, my daughter and my youngest play basketball. They've
Does she
already
too?
had a tournament the next day, so you get right
Really?
into it. Yeah,
Oh,
so.
my.
But that, and then just get back to my business career and
Yeah.
get focused on that a little bit more. I mean, I'm fortunate I got clients that let me leave at 3 every day and go do this, but I'm fortunate from that standpoint. But you know, ultimately, it's kind of talking about. Honestly, I mean, it's going to sound bad with these seniors over here, but we're getting ready for next year. We're going to start talking personnel.
Have
You
you
know,
started
start getting with
recruiting
kids.
Don't.
We're always doing that,
Don't.
yeah.
All these
You know,
these recruiting
it's interesting.
jokes.
The
I-
first, yeah,
I know.
our first class actually, 20. Yeah, I'm trying to think. We actually had a picture of that actually had a picture of their kindergarten class and then their senior class, and I think all but 1 or 2 were there from kindergarten on. I think this is a similar group from that standpoint, and it's you know, there's a family element to it, and it's, you know, it's a tough, it's got the great parochial setting. I love it for that standpoint, and the kids have to have the discipline in the hallways and the dress code and all that stuff. But ultimately, I think it, you know, it's all conducive to being a great young person, whether it's a student athlete or a student, and that's what I like about Regina so much.
Well, it's the day before Thanksgiving. As I said earlier, this has become a Thanksgiving Eve tradition to have you on here, and we hope that you're back next year. And just want to leave with this. What are you thankful for, Marv?
Opportunity to be on the show. I mean, opportunity, because that means we won a championship.
Yeah,
I don't know if I get invited otherwise. But,
Marv, you'd be back here anytime you want.
you know, I'm excited about the Hawks season, you know, just from a sports setting. But ultimately, the thing that it comes down to anything else is family, my wife, my 3 kids, you know, my mom and my 2 brothers in my immediate family. And that's what it's all about. We're going to spend time with this weekend and enjoy that and really take a note of you know, just how blessed we are.
Did you get a chance to watch the Hawkeye-Michigan football game last weekend?
Yeah.
You weren't there, were you?
I was.
You were?
Yeah, I was up there. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be inside, so I was glad about that.
Count your blessings. I know Bud and I were outside. But what'd you think of that game? Tell us just in brief what you saw. What did you observe, and what do you expect this weekend?
You know, I'm
Nebraska?
not a big fan of the naked boot coming out of your own end zone. You know, all I could see was flashes of Rick Stanzi getting hurt.
Yep, broken ankle.
Fortunately for us, we only gave up a touchdown. So,
Yeah.
but we were able to overcome that. Obviously, great. I mean, it's been a great season because they've overcome and set milestones. You know, one they stopped the Big Ten streak, and they got multiple games. They won on the road. You know, so it's been a great year, and they're going to have a great bowl game. And you know, second half of Michigan, that was the big gripe with a lot of people, was they didn't play well in the second half, and they were forced to against Michigan and did. And now they got a chance to do something that no Iowa team's done in like 70 years. So, and that's going to Lincoln, Nebraska, and get a victory. So,
right.
As a player, I would be, you know, jacked about that and excited, and I think they're going to do it.
I do too. As you're watching the Michigan game unfold, even in the first half, you see that the Hawkeyes have double the total yardage of Michigan. And as the game progresses, they're starting to triple the yardage against Michigan, yet they're still behind. Did you feel, as you're watching that game, especially in the second half, that it's inevitable? They're going to come back and win.
Yeah, I really did. And
That's how I felt.
I'd actually went to a Michigan-Indiana game earlier in the year and sat in the second row behind Michigan, and I just, you know, they've got incredibly talented athletes, and Gardner and Gallen are phenomenal, and Funches. But I thought offensively and defensively, line-wise, our guys would just, you know, control both line of scrimmages, which is exactly what happened. And, you know, being able to overcome, I mean, when's the last time you were down 4-1 on turnovers and still won the game against a top team like Michigan? So it was just a great win for the Hawks. And like I said, it sets up for an even better win against Nebraska.
Yeah. Now, you talked about Michigan's line versus Iowa. Have you seen Nebraska play this year on TV?
Just a little bit. You know, I mean, the unique element of where the Big Ten is right now, I think you got 3 top-tier teams in Michigan State, Ohio State, and Wisconsin, and then you got 5, you know, Northwestern, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and Michigan that you could, I mean, between those 5 teams, the way they played, Michigan came down a last-second field goal with Northwestern. I mean, Iowa-Northwestern game was right at the end. Iowa-Michigan was right at the end. So those 5 teams are kind of fighting it out to see who's going to be 4, 5, and 6. Which is a big difference in a bowl game. I'm telling you, being the 6th place team, you know, is a lot different than being the 4th place team.
Coming out with that touchdown in the second half,
Yeah,
right away, I had all the confidence in the world after
There
that.
was a heck of a play.
I didn't before.
Tavon Smith,
Yeah.
one-handed, kind of behind the back. And then not only did he catch it, but the yards after catch were incredibly impressive. One last question. The cold on Saturday, did that impact Michigan more than Iowa? I noticed Funches, who's a great receiver, caught 0 passes, I think. He might have gotten one late in the game.
It's huge. I mean, the cold isn't really the biggest issue. It's the cold and the wind. The wind is the most brutal thing because the ball will get slicker and it loses its grip. But when you throw the wind element into it, you've got to be, as a thrower, you got to be really tight with the spiral and really drive the ball. You got to be smart about which way you're throwing it to. If you're throwing into the wind, you want to make sure you're not throwing it so it's moving it. And I thought Rudock was really, really good.
Yeah.
I thought he was sound, and you know, Michigan, you know, wasn't able to do it. And to Michigan's, you know, they weren't able to run the ball as effectively as Iowa was, and it's a lot easier to throw the ball when you can run the ball. If it's 3rd and 2 and 3, and if you can still call a running play and get a first down, you've got a huge advantage, and that's where we were.
And it helps if you have Mark Weissman in the backfield.
And they did a nice job of rotating those guys in and out. I mean, I thought Canzeri and you know, Bullock got a few snaps, and And I thought they were smart about on short yardage plays. You could see Wiseman was coming in, then he was getting out, getting a rest. And
Yeah.
I thought the substitution was really smart.
Running for that touchdown on 4th down. We zipped through there for 9 yards.
The first down on 4th down, yeah, that was a
Yeah.
huge play. Huge play, Mark Weissman again, and good blocking by the fullback. We've been visiting with Marv Cook, the head football coach at Iowa City Regina, who has just won his 4th consecutive state title, his 56th straight game. Could you win a 57th? Because 56th is kind of hard to say. Marv, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm glad you guys are going to get a chance to visit with some of the players.
Yeah, we're going to bring them on now.
So that's good seeing you. Thanks
Yeah.
for everything.
Happy Thanksgiving, Marv,
Yeah,
and thanks for
appreciate
being here. Guys, why don't you come on up here? We'll put, let's put Mr. Hulse right here in the middle first. And come on down. All right. Guys, just come on behind us here. I like those shirts. I see they're selling new Regina. Oh, man, we got nice stuff
I
here.
want you to talk a lot to this guy because I love his accent.
Oh, we will. We will. We've got Elliot Hulse here, senior defensive end. What's your offensive lineman, defensive end? Welcome. Want to ask you about your favorite moment of the season.
Favorite moment, it would definitely be holding up that trophy at the end of the season. Yeah, it was relieving, exciting, everything at once.
How is it different for you holding up that trophy as a senior compared to last year and the year before and the year before that?
It's incredibly different. There was a lot more pressure this year. There was no one else to look up to. We had to do it ourselves. You know, last year I felt like we could rely on those older kids to, you know, do it for us if we slipped up anywhere.
Mhm.
But this year we really felt the pressure as seniors and leaders.
Talk a little bit about the Solon game. At Solon, 3A school, 3 times the size, theoretically, if not more, than Iowa City Regina. Have you developed maybe a bond or a relationship with some of these Solon kids?
Yeah, a little bit. We've been competing with them for quite a while now, all the way back to playing North Dodge basketball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've competed against them for a long time. We kind of know what they have. They know what we have. So,
There seems to be a mutual respect between the two coaching staffs, the players,
Yep.
even the students and community. I don't see the same thing when West Branch plays Regina.
yeah.
Why is that?
I think it's just because of you know, the success both programs have had,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, beating each other back and forth. It's been kind of one-sided with West Branch. So
Yeah.
I don't think they like us very much. But you know, Solon got quite a few beat downs on us previously with James Morris. So
Which would lead one to, you know, presume sometimes that there might be more animosity because it's been lopsided. Now it's lopsided the other way, but it's just the opposite.
yeah, I think you know, it's just a really good matchup. It's always a great game, very high intensity.
Yeah,
I mean, your heart's just racing like crazy before that game.
I bet. I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was real nervous. So, what's next for Elliot Hulse?
Weightlifting with Alex
Yeah?
Canellis. Yep. Yeah.
And are you going to play any other sports? Wrestle?
Nope.
No wrestling?
No wrestling.
What about baseball?
I had some shoulder problems, so I'm not playing baseball. Just getting ready for college football.
And what are you going to do for college?
I'm not sure yet.
You want to play football in
yes.
college?
Yep, I'm playing
Yeah?
football.
Where are you looking?
Western Illinois, Indiana, Iowa State, UNI, Minnesota State.
Where would you like to go?
Indiana's my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bloomington's a fun
Yeah, I
little
love it
town.
there.
It's a lot like Iowa City.
Yep. Yeah, I've made about 5 or 6 visits there.
Yeah?
So
But the uniforms they wear. Oh.
yeah, there's
Not as
recently.
bad as Northwestern.
No, but right there close. No, we support you whatever you pick, and I want to wish you the best of luck and thank you very much for being here. What are you thankful for?
Thankful for my family, friends, girlfriend, state championship. Yeah. So.
All right, we're going to let Elliot come off, and then we'll just start back this way. Why don't you come over here, Elliot? And who do we have here?
Mike Steele.
Hey, Mike. I know your mom and dad pretty well. They're good people. Now, you had a brother. Was he a senior last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago already. Wow. Well, Coach Marv Cook talked about the sacrifice, the personal sacrifice that you made this year. And I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit about that. What motivated you to make the change that you did?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we were a little short on the line. And so the coaches talked to me one day before our first week, first West Liberty, and they gave me the choice, and I decided to just try it out. And then Canellis helped me out, and I became, I thought, pretty successful.
Coach Canellis knows about line play.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great coach. He knows.
So you had a crash course in line play, basically. Had you ever played line before?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
And you played line in the first game against West Liberty, you said?
Yeah.
Wow. That was a good West Liberty team.
Yeah, they were very
And,
physical.
and we didn't get a chance to talk enough about it. Joe, how we doing on time, my friend? 14 minutes, good deal. There were a lot of quality teams on the Regina schedule this year. We're talking Durant, West Liberty, not to mention Solon and West Branch. The final scores might not have indicated the quality of the opponent, but you guys played a really tough schedule, and there are a lot of good teams on your schedule. What was a standout moment for you this year? What really just, when you look back on it now, you'll never forget?
Probably going into Solon and putting the Deuce 8 up there, not letting them score. It was a very good defensive game.
And getting the continuous clock against Solon on their home field. That had never happened before. I don't know if you realize that. That's really impressive. Bud, questions for Mr. Seal?
Well, what a great job he did to switch over. That's not an easy chore. And he played darn good. And I'm with him on the Solon game. But what got me on the Solon game was not letting him score. I don't think that's ever happened.
So were you a little nervous before that Solon game?
Just a little bit, but I thought we had a really good practice before. Solon week we usually have a very up-tempo week of practice, and I thought we did everything we did in practice.
Wow. Coach Cook called you one of the unsung heroes of this team. That's high praise. Who do you think might be one of the other unsung heroes of this team?
Well,
It could be a junior, sophomore, somebody on the freshman team that helps as a practice dummy. Who?
I think everybody was really good throughout the year. These guys behind me are very good players. I like all these guys, and
I'm not going to talk
You know.
I wanted to ask you, do you wear orthotics in your shoes?
I do not.
Count your blessings. I wear your dad's orthotics and have for years, and it's a difference maker for guys with plantar fasciitis like me. I hope you never get it.
Yeah.
Your dad's worked miracles on me. And now, how many other SEALs are there behind you?
One.
Just one more, and he's an 8th grader, right?
He's gonna be a freshman next year.
He played quarterback this past season?
He actually went to line too.
He did?
Yeah. He
Okay.
played quarterback in 7th grade, and then
All right.
Canales was the 8th grade coach. So.
Yeah, and they were undefeated this
Yeah,
year.
they're good.
Yeah, they were real good. I got to see those kids up close and personal. So, how about basketball for you?
Yeah, it's the next thing up. I'm gonna start practicing pretty soon.
You haven't started yet?
No,
Think
taking some time
Coach,
off.
I think Coach Larson's anxious.
Yeah.
Well, any other thoughts before we let you go? No? Oh, come on. What are you thankful for?
Thankful for my parents, brothers, my teammates. I'm thankful for winning that championship,
Yeah?
winning that trophy.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Seal. It's been a
Thank you.
heck of a ride. Good job. All right. Exit stage right, and we'll come up here. Okay, who's following Mike Seal here?
Adam Demery.
Adam,
you
welcome.
doing?
Appreciate you being here today. Tell us a little bit about your experience this year.
Yeah, I thought senior year, coming into it's just completely different. Like you don't think about it, and now that it's over, I kind of think, wow, that's it for football. I guess kind of. You've been fortunate enough to watch all these classes above you go out and win championships, and it's kind of just hitting me now that this was our class that did it.
Yeah, and I have a feeling there's a lot more hard work that went into this along the way. I can remember taking my son to lift weights at 7 in the morning, and you guys had already been out there for an hour, pulling a sled in the parking lot. And folks, we're not talking about a little sled you carry the kids on. We're talking about a big metal sled with big weights in it. That's really heavy. And I see you guys out there doing that, and I just think there's nothing that will stop these young men this season from accomplishing their goals. And it's the little things like that. Did you watch Coach Cook on the TV show the other night on KCRG?
Yeah, I did watch him on that.
Yeah, he talked about the hard work that went into it. Why don't you tell us and the viewers a little bit about all the work that went into it during the summers, before school in the morning? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, a lot of these guys, I mean, they know it's not going to be just given to them. We know that it's all about the off season, coming in lifting twice a day, going to speed conditioning workouts, pulling the sled around the parking lot. I mean, this guy behind me, Elliot Halsh, he lives in the weight room. I mean, a lot of these guys are really dedicated.
No kidding.
Yeah. A lot of these guys are really dedicated, and we know what it takes to. We know that we need to put in the work to be successful.
Now, you said twice a day you go to the weight room?
Yeah, a lot of guys will come in the morning and lift, and then come in afternoon and lift again.
Yep. So, what's next, Adam?
Well, I'm playing basketball this season,
Yeah?
so that should be fun.
Is this the first year you've played basketball at Regina?
I played my freshman and sophomore year, but not last year. I'm making my return this year.
Who convinced you to do that?
Mike Seal.
All right, Mike. Way to go. Way to go. And any other sports-related activities this year after basketball?
I don't think so. I'm just gonna continue to lift and
Yeah.
try to get stronger.
And what about college?
I'm not sure yet. I've had some smaller schools come to me and ask me about playing, but I haven't decided yet.
Yeah? Okay, favorite moment of the season?
I'd have to say going up to Makokata Valley, and that was such a hard-fought game, and coming out there with that win was really good.
What made Makokata Valley different than the other opponents you faced this year?
Well, I mean, we came in there, they were fired up. They expected to win.
Yeah,
And
it looked
they
that
should've.
way.
Yeah, they really did. And they were just a physical team. We hadn't seen many other teams that were as physical as them. And with a running back like Ryan Parmley, that kid,
He's a junior.
that kid's pretty talented. And it was just a good win, hard-fought win.
Didn't you play Makokata Valley a year ago in the playoffs?
Yeah, we did in the quarterfinals.
What was different about them this year as opposed to last year?
I felt like they were a lot more physical this year, and Ryan Parmley was a sophomore last year, and I feel like he has got a lot better too.
Yeah.
I think as a team, they've just all gotten so much better.
Yeah. So that was a standout moment. What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my family, all these guys behind me, and all the coaches that we have at Regina that put us in a position to be successful.
That's great. Well, Adam, good luck to you. Good luck in basketball.
you.
We'll see you on the basketball court. And again, congratulations on a
You know, your
4-year state
grandpa
championship
had a
run.
cabin by me for 15 years.
Bill Demery? Yeah.
He warned him to stay away from your cabin, too. I think that's how it went. All right, exit stage right. Adam Demery. What's your name, young man?
I'm Jake Brinkman.
You're Jake. Welcome to Sports Opinion, Jake. Now, you're a junior. Yeah, so how'd they talk you into being here today?
I actually woke up at about 10:50 this morning. I got a text message from Coach Cook saying get here, and
Now,
yeah, so I had to hurry up, shower up, and get over here.
you did well. As a junior, what do these seniors mean to you?
Oh, they mean a lot to me. You know, they're all great leaders, and in practice, they really teach us how to play hard and have and have good tempo. And you know, us juniors, we're gonna carry that on next year, and they've taught us a lot.
Good deal. I imagine you probably mean something special to Riley Dixon, because when he went down in the West Branch game, in you stepped.
Yeah.
Big difference. There are a lot of people that were worried.
Yeah, I mean, Riley Dixon's a great running back and probably one of the best we've had at Regina, and to take his spot and help out the team was a big opportunity. And then when he came back, me and Michael, the two fullbacks, we had to look forward to blocking for him again, and he did a great job and stepped in.
You know,
Well, you done a good job.
you did a great
You
job.
really did.
Not just running either,
And all
receiving and defense. What position did you play in defense?
I played outside linebacker.
Okay. What do you like better, hitting people or running with the ball?
They're both great, but if I had to choose, hitting people.
Hitting people.
Yeah. I like contact, and I think it's fun.
my 7th grade son, Paul, is here, and he mentioned you as one of the kids that he admires and has been nice to kids his age, and I know I'm embarrassing him, but what do you say to a 7th grader in the Regina football program? What do you say to him to encourage him when maybe they don't win every game, or maybe they don't feel like they're worthy of the mantle of Regina football player? What do you say to the young kids?
I think the best example is these seniors right behind us. When they were in 7th grade, they went 2-3. When they were in 8th grade, they went 1-4. And to see them come out and win a state championship, I mean, that's all they need to motivate them. I mean, just get in the weight room, work hard, and
You're gonna go places, young man. That's impressive. That's
I like
very
that
impressive.
too. Did you see that?
oh yeah.
Murph, did you see that?
Oh, you guys got a ring? Is that for this year?
This is last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Joe, how we doing on time, my friend?
Got one more.
So, what's next after football?
Track and baseball.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Those
What events in track?
Sprinting 100, 200, and then relays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sprints, huh? What a surprise. Well, I wish you a lot of luck and appreciate you being here, Jake. We've got to get your teammate Julian on here next. So thanks for being here. Congratulations. We got 4 minutes
Thank you.
to get Julian on here. Julian, we want to hear you talk. We saw you on the TV show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Julian Martinez. And with a name like Martinez, you'd expect him to have an Australian accent.
Yeah.
Wow. And you just came to America when?
Would have been August last year.
So he's been here just a little over a year. Welcome to Iowa City,
Thank you.
and congratulations. Really enjoyed listening to you talk on the TV show the other night on KCRG, and I wanted to ask you the same questions. What was your standout moment this year as a senior?
I really enjoyed the Wilton game.
The Wilton game.
The Wilton game, you know, they were talking a lot of trash beforehand. Really expecting they could come out and win. You know, that's a hard-fought game. And, you know, Coach Canales got the O-line rattled up. And, you know, we came out there and gashed them in the running game. And it really put a stamp out there.
I like that word, gash.
Yeah.
Now, guys, you can all answer this for me. Is Wilton becoming more of a heated rival with Regina along the lines of West Branch?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's
kind of
I'm starting to sense that.
So the
self-inflicted, I'd
relation,
say.
right?
Well, I do. Yeah, I know who the head coach is.
Our sophomore year, we actually lost to them JV, so
Mhm.
it's I'd say it's becoming a rivalry.
And they talk a lot of trash.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty self-inflicted by them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were there last night for my son's wrestling meet, and that wasn't pretty. They're not fond of Regina over there, I can tell. So, and you know, I'm a troublemaker. I like to stir the pot, and so we're going to put a little star next to Wilton. We won't forget them. Julian, what's next for you? Are you going to play basketball?
No basketball. I'm just going to lift, and I might go out and throw for track.
Really?
Yeah.
Discus
Yeah, just because I'm short.
and shot.
Yeah.
Very good. And then after high school, back to Australia, or are you going to stay in the States?
I hope to come back to the States and
Yeah?
play college football, hopefully.
What position?
O-line.
You like that?
Yeah, no, it's very fun.
Very good. Joe, I guess we got to wrap it up, huh? We got 1 minute. Julian, what are you thankful for here in America? Thanksgiving?
Yeah, second Thanksgiving ever. Thankful for my family back home and the family I'm staying with here. The Beaver
Who do you
family.
stay with here?
The Beaver family with Casey Beaver.
Oh,
His family,
really?
Yeah. Stay with them.
So we've got tall and short in the same family.
Yeah.
Who can eat more at Thanksgiving dinner, you or Casey?
We'll have to find out
All
tomorrow.
right, all right. I like that.
Very good.
Oh,
That's
good.
good answer.
Well, on behalf of Bud and Earl and Bob Boyd, who's on assignment this week, we want to thank all of you, not only for being here today, but for being Regina Regals and sticking through the program and bringing home another consecutive state title, undefeated season. It's simply amazing, and trust me, you're never going to forget this moment. Make it last, savor every moment, and have a great Thanksgiving. I'm Dirk Keller, thanking you for watching Sports Opinion every Wednesday night on Channel 18. We're on at 7 p.m. Wednesday night, and Sunday night we'll replay the show at 6 p.m. On behalf of everyone here, we want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week. And remember this, either you're a Regal or you're not. Go Regals, go Hawks, get 'em. Okay.